Hello, hopefully you can all hear me. Let me know in the comments if you can. Thank you for those of you who have joined me already and been waiting. Hello, Roland Raptors. Hello, Rocket. Let's wait for someone to tell me that they can hear me okay before I start rabbiting and showing you things. All good, you can hear me, fantastic. Hello, Mark. Well, Mark and I are recording after this. We're recording an Old Worlders, so I need to try and stay awake tonight and try and keep Mark awake as well. So what I'm going to do this evening is it shouldn't be too long. I'm going to go through all of the Warhammer, the Old World role-playing game stuff that's arrived for me. Some stuff I've bought, some stuff I've been given. I haven't got my maps yet like anyone else. I thought before I started, I did want to address, I know some people are still waiting on stuff, and I wanted to address that actually, because I think the things are coming a little bit later than we expected. And let me just flick over to this screen here. So if we look at their website, things have changed a little bit. I know when I first ordered, and it was like the first day that they went up for pre-order, I know that it said Q1 for the main stuff, so your collector's editions, Games Masters, and your players guys. I'm pretty sure it said Q1, and then the card packs and the things as well. They were all Q1, and they all start. Here we go. We still got Q1 showing for the cards on some of these, which I think is quite interesting, and some things are sort of subtly being changed to shipping April. Of course, it's the last third of May now, and people still haven't got it. So there's been some subtle changes. And then when I set this up before the stream, I noticed that the starter set, which was announced much later on in the year, just before Christmas, I think, November time maybe, that was a Q2. And I've just noticed today that's now shipping Q4. So that's quite a pushback. So they're obviously having issues with dealing with the printers, I imagine, and I'm just making that up, so you know, don't quote me on it, but there's something going on there. Hopefully it's because it's been super popular and they're dealing with volume. It is a little bit of a shame that they haven't sort of addressed that. I don't think they have. I've not missed anything. I've certainly not had an email who's someone who's pre-ordered. I mean, you've got digital access anyway. As soon as you pre-order, you get all your digital copies, so you're able to start. But I've been holding off really getting into the game. I want to teach my son the game for the starter set, and I was hoping it was going to arrive for this summer. I go away camping a lot in my camper van with the family, and I thought I imagined an evening where I cracked open the starter set with my 11-year-old. That's clearly not going to happen now. I don't want to do it just with digital stuff. I want to do it first time he plays the game properly. I want to do it with pen and paper. So minor thing. I mean, they're lovely guys that work there. They won't be doing it because they don't care. But some communication on that, I think, would be nice. And I wanted to mention it so you guys don't just think I'm some horrible shill who gets free stuff and interviews people and says nice things about them because they're on the channel. I do think that needs address, and I don't know if they're going to be watching this or not. Who knows? But it's a little bit of a shame they didn't sort of send a bit. Maybe they have. Maybe they've put it somewhere on a blog or something. But an email saying to all the people that pre-order, because they've obviously got our details. You know, this is not the original time that we thought it was going to be. It feels a bit like a Kickstarter, and maybe that's kind of the way it's run. Anyway, let's have a look at the stuff, because you guys don't want to see my ugly mug too much. So I'm going to go over to my other camera. Here we go, and I'll see what's been going on in the chat as I'm moving over. Oh, one thing I should say, I have an extra copy of the Player's Guide and the Games Master's Guide, which I will be giving away. I will tell you how to do that. How you can win these at the end of the stream today. There's already a post up on the Patreon now, which you can't really enter until you know what I'm going to tell you need to do. And the reason it's not just as simple as everyone gets entered who's a patron is because I want to make sure that whoever gets them really wants them. It's going to cost. I'm very happy to post it anywhere in the world, and it won't be cheap. I want to make sure that posting 2 books somewhere, that it's going to be someone that actually wants to own the books and you use them, whether that's for role playing or just for background lore, etc. Anyway, with that out the way, I'm going to show you all the stuff. I haven't flicked through any of this at all. I've taken the cellophane off all the card packs today, just so I'm not fighting with it on camera. And other than that, I've been so busy, I've not really had chance to. So cellophane is off, but other than that, I've not flicked through. Obviously, I know what all the pages look like because I've had the digital copies from pre-release, and then my own digital copies when I've purchased. But I thought it'd be quite cool to see and compare the collector's set with the regular ones. Now, I'm afraid when I put heavy books down, the camera might shake at times because I think I said in the last stream, is the arm for it is attached to the desk when this is on. So basically, I think this is an extension. Oh no, separate artwork. It's a really stunning artwork there. That's really cool. I know there's been lots of criticism about the artwork from many people saying it's not sort of Warhammer enough, it's not grim enough, and I don't want to get into the debates around woke stuff because I don't feel that way myself. I've got no problem with representation in games. If you don't want to play games that particular way, you just don't include them. Games are your own, role-play games are your own as well, and if you're running a game, you can run the kind of characters you want. It's the whole nature of role-playing. And if a certain piece of artwork you don't like because it represents something you don't see as part of the game, then just ignore it. But yeah, anyway, that's me getting off my little pedestal soapbox for a moment. So nice, thick, chunky card bit. And then the books inside, I've got these beautiful, really nice covers. Now, I didn't originally order these. I ordered the normal books. I kind of like the stock ones to use, and I didn't want to double up. And Cubicle 7 very kindly sent me these books and sent me the cards, which I hadn't ordered. I ordered the books and I ordered the maps, which haven't arrived. I think inside everything else should essentially be the same. So that's the cover of the normal book. Sorry about the glare. There's not a lot I can do about it, I'm afraid. So that's, yeah, it's the same inside. These are identical apart from the covers, which is the way these things go. But I think beautiful thing to own, and I will keep these nice as a collector. That's the whole point of them. I'll show you the Games Masters guide as well. This almost feels more old school Warhammer. I don't know what you think. I will try and catch up on the comments in little breaks in a moment. It's very hard to watch comments and talk and look at books when you're streaming on your own, so do forgive me if I'm not quite as interactive as some people. I also don't stream very often, so I'm not super slick at it. I'm very comfortable with recording videos, swearing a lot and then deleting it most of the time. But we'll flick through the normal books and I'll put those out of the way, and then we'll circle back and look at the cards and things afterwards. So I'm sure some of you have pre-ordered and had your own digital copy, so are well aware what these pages look like. But I thought we'd have a bit of a fast flick through. I don't want to provide people with an easy way of stealing the content, but also saying that it's been out there in PDF form for more than 12 months now, so there's probably dodgy copies doing the rounds as it is anyway. But I do like to support they are small businesses as much as they produce stuff like this. They are small businesses. So I don't have this doesn't say not Warhammer to me. This is just like Warhammer evolves and changes, and different artists have different styles. I think for me that still looks like Warhammer, just slightly different to it was in the 80s and the 90s. That's just a natural progression. I do get what some people are saying about the slightly sort of modern look of it, but again, I just think that's the change in art styles. I love this picture. That really reminds me of the opening scenes of when the hobbits arrive at Bree in the Fellowship of the Ring, and it's just hammering it down with rain. Really, really cool stuff. And then I've done full reviews on these, and I will try to remember once the video is fully uploaded to go back and pop some links in. So those, if anyone's watching this has not seen my reviews, I've done reviews of these books as and when I got them. and of the game. There's interviews, 2 interviews now with Dom and Padraig. There's a review as well of a quick sort of overview of the starter guide. So there's lots of content on the channel. If you're watching this and thinking, oh, what's this? And you've got lots of questions about it, most of those things can be answered by watching the very first interview before the game was released, and then looking at the sort of review I did of it, because it kind of gives an overview of the way the game works and what's different to Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, which is still continuing and is about to have its 5th edition. So I don't mind this artwork. Yes, it's not the same as some of the stuff from the Games Workshop studio back in the late 80s, but also Warhammer sits in my brain as my own version of it now, and this is just something illustrated on this picture. For me, it doesn't lock in and change it. Some of this you'll have seen right from the beginning of the war game as well, because that was used by Games Workshops, and some of the artwork has come from Games Workshop. It's not all from C7 and their artists, or the artists that they license and use. A lot of the people working on these books work on a sort of a job-by-job basis. So my friend Jordan Saucer-Chow, he did some writing for the Games Masters guide, I believe. There's definitely stuff in the starter set that he's done. And then also Chris Hanley as well, who's in the Discord all the time and has been on the channel before, has done work on all of this stuff. So it's really nice to see people that you chat to and find their work in them as well. I'm well aware that some of these pages aren't super exciting to look at, and there's not lots of colour on lots of pictures and things on all of them. And as I said, I'm not going to get into the mechanics. It is a flick through, it's an unboxing type of thing. And for those of you who are still waiting on yours, then hopefully they turn up soon. I saw more posts in the Facebook groups today of people showing off their stuff, so it's clearly arriving in dribs and drabs. I know the maps from talking to Padraig the other day. I know the maps are coming from different warehouses, and more than one warehouse depending on where they're going to in the world. I'm not sure about the books themselves, whether that was one warehouse. I know some people have got stung by import taxes in the UK, and we tend to forget in the UK that I don't want to go into too much talk about politics, but that we're not in the EU sometimes, and it's easy to forget that Cubicle 7 is an Irish business and they're based in Ireland. So if you spend over the £135, i.e. if you got the all-in bundle, you're going to have an import bill as well. So if anyone is thinking of picking these up and wants wants to order a lot, maybe order it in 2 separate things, because the double up on the shipping will be cheaper than any import taxes. But less said about that, the better. But I was really impressed when I first looked through these, and I still am now, how easy it was to read. That the rules writing follows a narrative, and what I mean by that is that reading the rules tells you a story. You get an idea of how you'd like to play. I thought Rick Priestley was excellent with that, with early editions of Warhammer Fantasy, at least maybe 4th edition onwards. Some of those editions are just very, very good at taking you through the rules. And as much as I love Warhammer the Old World, I think players of it would all agree that the current rule book isn't the smoothest read, and it doesn't feel like it takes you on a journey about telling you how to play the game, whereas this really does. So if you are new to roleplay games, and I class myself as new because I hadn't played since Wolfrup 1st edition, I'm not scared of giving it a go, having read this, and it does help when your first games as a GM for God knows how many years, for nearly 40 years, cough, will be with my own 11-year-old. So I'll be super confident at putting on silly voices, just like I do when I read to him. If I was running it for a group of adults, maybe I'd be a little bit more nervous about not being a seasoned games master. But we're getting near the end of the book now. There is a little bit of lore in both of these. There's even more when we get into the new stuff, the starter set, and the Games Master's Guide. Is a lot more in there, but there's a little bit about the old world, and there is new stuff, especially around the Empire, that gives you a little bit more information about what's going on in some of the areas. Not loads, and it's only a few pages, But if you're a collector and you love the old world, then these are great. And then the starter set and the stuff that's in that, I think, is even better. What it focuses on Talagad, it definitely gives you a bit of an idea of what daily life is like. And if you're like me and that helps you place your games, I always joke about this, but I always say that I like to know what it's like to buy a loaf of bread, where you go, what the world is like. Then I think that helps with it. But not everyone needs that to enjoy their war games. Games Master's Guide. Let's have a little look as we go through that. And I'm just rabbiting away, not keeping an eye on the chat at all. I hope you're all still with me, still alive, etc. So slightly different artwork, as you can see. So this is the other side, or further back in the picture, I think. I think it kind of works like that. Your beastman. It's very, the early books are very set up as the classical battle between empire towns and the threat of beastmen. And the lore is different at this point. Chaos has been on the wane for quite a while, and the people are starting to have more of a normal life, and they've started to forget about, some younger generations maybe forgetting about the threat of chaos, because it's been a while since they've been invaded and things like that. So this is like the beginning of the build up towards the Great War Against Chaos, when the normal citizens of the Empire are starting to realise that chaos is a threat again. And I think the lore for the war game is a little bit further ahead than these books were when they were written, which is obviously a couple of years ago now. So we've moved on more now. We've obviously got Cathay introduced and stuff. None of that's mentioned in these. This is right back that sort of 1776 period before it all kicks off. But even things like this, just some contacts, gives you an idea of some of the personalities you might find. And again, for me, that helps inform the war game. This guy looks so much like Lando Calrissian. See, I think this artwork's great. It doesn't take me out of the Warhammer world at all, but we're all entitled to our own opinions on those things. You'll recognise some of these people that are also miniatures as well, your hedge wizards and things, or at least certain elements of them. And there's just a lot more of that. And this guy turns up in the starter set as well. And there's just a lot of it here. And for me, again, I just find it really fun to read, and gives that greater depth of the world. I'm trying to keep the pages turning at a rate that you might find it relatively interesting. This gives you a bit of an idea of how the different threads and things can work. But again, it's probably worth watching that initial video with Padraig and Dominic to get a bit of an idea about how the game works and how the Grim Portents work and your contacts work and threads work to run the game. But just really, really cool. I'm really looking forward to getting involved. I wish I had more time, because it would be really cool. And I'm going to mention this now, and people will say yes, but I haven't got the time at the moment. But it'd be really cool to get a group together via the Discord, and at some point get together, and either myself or someone else run the game, and then a few of us play. It could be really good fun. But I'm just no time for that this side of the summer for sure. Okay, we'll keep skipping through. So there's a real mix of art, and there's so much art in this. These books are so colourful. But some of the fonts and things, and some of the colours, some of that sort of teal blue, again, works alongside the GW stuff. I know they've gone super sepia for all their books with no colour on the inside pages, apart from the pictures of the miniatures. So this is a little bit different, but there's also an awful lot of stuff that I think, even though it's coming from a separate company, really connects the feel. And obviously the font has something to do with that, and the blue and the sepia, but I think it's pretty cool. I mean, some of this artwork is old classic artwork anyway. And that's just awesome. Look at that Empire Knight. I don't recognise that, so I don't know if that's new or not, but yeah, very Warhammer to me regardless. Ogres and halflings, and don't look behind you, and Imperial dwarves, lovely to see. I wish there were some some new plastic versions of those miniatures, and that became more of a sort of stable thing in the Empire Army. Maybe they will in the future. Classic Bretonian pictures that we've seen on all the box sets as well recently. So again, a lot of the artwork is stuff that we saw this picture right back when the Warhammer the Old World tabletop war game was announced. It was one of the original teasing articles, so this picture was probably shown us, I don't know, 7 years ago or something like that now. Definitely a long time. But yeah, I think this artwork's great. Yeah, this one's almost photo real, so you can see the mix of artists and different styles of artwork and different methods, and just packed full of information about all the things we know, but what they're like in this time period. So loads more information just by reading about these characters. You'll find more than you do in the sort of the overview that's in the arcane journals and things, which is very much a big macro view of what's going on. This kind of brings it down to that human level much more, or that monster level, or that demon level. Again, another familiar bit of artwork, or that's also a miniature. Pets and mounts. Nice. Boars and bears, spiders. That's got the classic plastic goblin spider rider feel about it. Beastmen, Bray herds. So there's just loads in there. So all that will come to the card decks in a moment, but a lot of this information is put on cards. So for in games, you can use this without having to flick through the book, which not everyone wants to do. And we get into the last sort of 20-30 pages or so. But you can see they're big old books, absolutely packed full of information, loads to read if you want to sit, and they can become good coffee table books even if you're not going to play the game much or at all. If you just love the worlds of Warhammer, and we have a massive lack of novels at the moment in the game. This is a really nice thing to pick up. If you wanted your fix, especially while we've got God knows how many weeks left of the 40k only drive that's on from Games Workshop at the moment, and I don't mind too much because I'm quite enjoying dabbling in a little bit of 40k at the moment. But it's interesting art. Almost looks like a miniature. Right, getting close to the end now. You get the idea. There's obviously some things missing based on the worlds and things that are covered at the moment. You get a reference bit at the back, and there was the advert for the starter set. But pretty cool. Right then, I am going to try and have a little catch up with the chat while you stare at some boxes for a moment. Let me scroll back and see what I can see. Is there any questions? Rocket, I hope you remember to let the dog back in. Interest from Roland Rattus. Interest in the main rule books, especially the campaign books when they eventually come out. So yeah, there's the first starter set has a campaign book in it, has a campaign built into it, and then there's a small PDF only campaign, and then there's one they announced the other day, the Talagan Adventures as well. So that's coming soon as well, which would be pretty cool. People telling me they can hear me. Nice books, art physicals, need a copy of my own. Warhammer art enough for me. Looks like Mutant Chaos Minotaur. Just making sure I'm not missing any questions before we jump too far ahead. You go, Dark Days Radio, that's Chris. I did the Undead and Beastmen Bestiary work in those books. So, there we go. Mark Lanley, no rats in Warhammer, yes. So there are things, like I just alluded to, there are some things missing because Cubicle 7 will be constrained via their license because they work at it via what Games Workshop tell them that they can include, and they have to match the current law, so they can't really cover in great detail. And there are some things, but there's not loads and loads of Skaven and things. But again, a lot of experienced GMs or people after they run a couple of campaigns will be able to work out some stats for a Skaven and use some of the Warhammer Fantasy roleplay guides and things to help them out as well. I don't think it will be too hard, and you'll notice, and they've said a lot about this, you'll notice that the stat lines have some familiarity with the regular wargame stat lines, and that's deliberate, so you can always take some cues from some of the things from there and maybe able to cover them over. There we go. Nearly there. Liam, love halfling plastics. Yes, that would be amazing, and hopefully they'll do that one day. They'll definitely be popular, but I think would it be too niche? I don't know. I'd want it, definitely want it. So maybe more people would, but if they weren't very good, the sales would probably slow down. And how do you make plastic halflings broken just so people buy them? Who knows? Maybe. I really want this now, hoping they might have copies of the UK Games Expo. Matt, yeah, they might do actually, Matt. I haven't thought about that. They were last year, they were demoing it. They are there this year. I'm unfortunately not going. My wife's in the States and work, and that means I'm with both kids. And we all went as a family last year, and we all enjoyed it. But my youngest is 7, and he will get really bored. It was easy last year because I could send him off with my wife. They'd go and play some games, and I could wander around and look at all the stuff that he wouldn't be interested in. But with just me, I'll be dragging 2 kids around, and I think they'd get bored pretty quick. So I'm not going to go, unfortunately. Right, I've caught up with the chat. Let's have a look. So we've got the Allies and Antagonists card set. I'm going to struggle to open sets of cards now, so bear with me. Now these are really cool if you're new to role-playing, I imagine, and you don't want to flick through books. And it's also maybe a more of a modern take on the way you play games, so you can just get the cards out that you need. So there's minions, brutes, monstrosities. You've got some rules and reactions there, and then you've got artwork, artisan, and you've got and you throw it around, and you've got your stats on the other side. And again, just nice. You're setting up your session, and you get out the things that you need, and you've got them behind your screen. You don't need to keep flicking through your book to do it, and I like that. I'm always a fan of cards. I can never remember anything. I'm absolutely shocking with my stats and rules in games, so these kind of things are really good to me. And if I'm not having to put loads and loads of tabs in a book and I'm able to flick through, I love it. Really cool stuff. So it's the artwork, I believe, in most cases that's going to be in the book, and it's just reprinting the important stuff. So obviously not all the lore and stuff around them and the descriptions, but just printing their basic stat line. And as you can see, weapon skill, ballistic skill, strength, toughness is all recognisable, and pretty much look like they'll be at the same level they would be for the war game. So Empire Noble, weapon skill, ballistic skill 3, State Trooper, weapon skill, ballistic skill 3, strength, toughness 3. So it's exactly the same you're going to find the war game tabletop. Knight, and you go to weapon skill 4, but the rest is all 3. So typical stats we're used to. So like I was saying, you could very easily make up some Skaven characters, I think, looking at your legacy army list. Maybe I shouldn't go there. Imperial Ogre, Halfling Thief, ballistic skill 4, weapon skill 2. Yeah, they're just loads here, all the stuff. I think they're all there. All the stuff we saw in the book is available as a little card, and I think that's great. If you're going to pick up one set of cards, I think this would be the most useful, at least from my perspective. Yeah, I like that a lot. Super right, Cultist, Flagellant, Witch Hunter, Priest of Sigmar. I'm just going to try keep up the pace here. I want to show you pretty much everything, but then also appreciate it can get a little bit boring. A dog, well, there you go, most important card in the... There's no cat though, which is a bit of a shame. Oh, let me get Rat Swarm, Horse, Giant Wolf. Yeah, we're on to the beast now. But just nice and simple, about the size of a kind of a tarot card size thing. So really not too small in the hand, but big enough to have all the information on. Centaur, Bray Shaman, Beastman Chieftain, Gorgon, Goblin Warrior, Nasty Skulker, Orc Boy, Snotling Swarm, Orc Weird Boy, first bit of black and white, oh that one isn't it, Goblin Odd Git, Orc Boss, Goblin Boss, that's some classic art, isn't it? Skeleton Warrior, again, it might be a Tomb King there, but that's just it's Tomb King artwork, but it's just a standard Skeleton Warrior. You can make that whatever you want, can't you? And you do have wights, so there are vampires as well, so it's not all completely just Tomb Kings. Tomb King artworks on the Bone Dragon. And the Bone Dragon, well, that's going to be a interesting session if that turns up, isn't it? Demigriff, right. Great Stag, Pegasus, Griffin, Forest Dragon, Wyvern, Troll Hag Spells, Giant's Attack Table, and Throwmere the Fair, I don't know what that is, must be a Truman or something, and a Skin Wolf. So that's the allies and antagonist set. I'll put them all away again later. Now these I've not opened at all. I've taken the cellophane off, but I've not looked at them yet. So I don't know how much I'd use these, but first few sessions might be handy, and it might be really handy with new players as well. So, but Wounds and Conditions reference pack. So again, I'm not going to show all of these. I think they get a little bit boring. But if you know you're setting up a session and you know that certain things are going to happen, they could be really handy to have on hand. Sometimes I'm going to say hand. Ruptured organs, severed leg, severed arm, blacking out, spilling guts, shattered knee. Yeah, it can be quite an internal injury. It can be quite a rough game. While it's a different game system, it can still be pretty brutal. Superficial injuries, staggered, prone, drained. Not quite as important, I don't think, as the allies antagonist cards. But again, if you're kind of a collector and all-in kind of person, it can be really handy. Can't get into these. Magic spells. Again, this will be a little bit dry to read all these out. But basically it's all the spells that are in the books as far as I'm aware, with the stats that you need for them. So again, that's quite useful, I suppose, if you've got magic users and they know what spells they've got. They can have the cards nearby. Obviously you could write these on their character sheets as well, but again, it's a nice thing. It's a nice little extra. I'm sure commercially they're good things as well to add on. Weapons and armour, same comment really. It's all in the book, and you'd write these down and have them on your character sheet, so it's not quite as important. But if you were a collect them all kind of person, nice thing to have. As I say, I didn't buy the cards, they were very kindly sent over to me. But pretty cool. And then the last bit, before you can all be lucky people and look at my face again, is the prayers and miracles. So similar to the spells in that sense. Again, will be useful to some, nice to haves rather than must haves. And as I haven't really played anything in detail yet, I played around a little bit with the game. I don't know how much of these you'd crack open and use, but pretty cool. But yeah, these are the two main things, the real cool things. Right, let me get back round and have a look at the chat and catch up with you guys. So there we go. I'm back. Sorry. So I think it's a lovely set of stuff for sure. How much I use of it, I don't know. The allies and antagonists set, I think that's most useful. I think Matt asked that question. What does he think would be the most useful? And I'd say if you're going to buy a set of cards, that's cool, because you can just get the characters out you need. I think a lot of the other things that you'll make a note of them as when you've got that bit of equipment, but that's pretty cool. But you don't need them; they're all in those books. Should you pick them up, and you can just buy the PDFs as well. You don't have to buy the books. You can buy the PDFs only and download them instantly, and you can get them through Drive-Through RPG as well. So, and as soon as there's an update or something on them, you get an email saying there's been an adjustment or a change. So the FAQ is adjusted, not like Games Workshop where you buy your books and then you have to print out stuff. The digital copies get updates in them. I'm not sure what version the print copies have got in them, at what time they were printed versus the change log. I think you can go back and see the change log as well. It's minor things, but there are, you get them anyway. And as soon as you buy a physical copy, you get your digital copy as well. I still believe that's the case. It was for pre-order, which is pretty cool. So you've always got options for it. And I think when I game, I would sit there with the books, but I'm also an iPad user, and I'm very likely to have them on my iPad as well. And I think it's all hyperlinks, so you can skip through and things. So it's pretty good. I'm really looking forward to the like I said, the extra bit of stuff. I'm a little bit disappointed to discover just before the stream that it's Q4 now for that starter set, and I'm assuming that the GM's guide, the GM's screen will be the same. And that's got some more information on Talagad in it as well. So I'm really looking forward to those things, because you can absolutely start playing now. But for newer people, which so many, I think there's lots of new eyes on this, people that haven't role-played game like myself for a number of years or never have, because they love Warhammer the Old World. It's the starter set being physically in shops. Hopefully, I'm guessing their goal has got to be to get it in time for Christmas in shops. So hopefully that's early Q4 that their pre-orders go out and they get them on the shelves in shops for people, because otherwise they're going to be missing Christmas sales from people popping into their local game stores and able to pick that starter set up. But pretty cool. Let me have a quick chat, make sure I've not missed anything. Little look at the chat, make sure I've not missed anything, and then I will tell you about how you can win a set of these. Is Discover Talagad scenario in the GM or Player's Guide books, or is it only in the starter set? There's no, unless I've missed it, there's no scenarios in these. They've just got some limited guides, and the actual scenarios start in that starter set, unless you want to make your own up. So, to get your hands on these, like I said, I want these to go to someone that really, really, really wants them. And if that means less people enter, that's fine by me. I will post anywhere in the world. You will be responsible for your own import tariffs wherever you are. I'm afraid, but I will ship that anywhere in the world. And it has to be a patron, I'm afraid. I'm not just going to pop a link up on the bottom of this video. You can't just say I'm in and I'll do it. But patron free members as well. I have to do that. I can't pay because of legal reasons, because of gambling and laws in the UK, is that it has to be open as a free. So it's free to enter, but you do have to you'd have to sign up to Patreon if you're not already a patron and become a free member of my Patreon, and then you'll be able to see the post, which has already gone up. It was posted just as we went live of these, and I want you to tell me in a comment why you'd like them, or a story or something, just something more than I want them, please. Just a couple of lines. Say I'd really, really love these because, or I used to play Wolfrup version whatever, and I'd love to get into this. Just something like that. And I know that you really, really want these, and you're likely to use them. You don't have to want them to play the game. You might want them just for lore, for games that will have the Old World on your War Games table. But I just want to go to someone that's going to be excited to receive them, and even if they just flick through and look at the shiny pictures. Okay, so that's that. So head over to the Patreon to do that. I'm going to leave that running for a couple of weeks. I enable people to catch up, as this stream will go up live as a video afterwards. And I'm away next week anyway in North Wales, hoping the weather stays nice, because I'm going to be in my camper van. So I won't be looking too much at all the comments that way. So I'll leave it a couple of weeks for people to catch up, watch the video, and be in with a chance to enter. And then all of the people who comment, as I've said, on the Patreon post, that is not on this video, that won't get you an entry on the Patreon post. I will pop into a random number generator. I'll assign you a number and I'll pop you into a random number generator, and I will post up the winner on Patreon, but also on social media and stuff like that as well. So yeah, I like to say go and share this video, but if you want to enter, you probably don't want to share it because more people will see it, and it means your chances of winning are not going to be quite as good. So I'll have one final quick look at the chat, see if there's anything I've missed, and then I'll let you all go because Mark and I have got to record a podcast. I want to make sure my voice is still going for it. So and Matt mentioned about still bringing the kids down and we entertain them with the game. I'm really tempted to, but we've got a lot on and we're away as well beforehand, and everyone's going to be exhausted, and just a grumpy 7-year-old. The thought of going around that busy hall with a grumpy 7-year-old just sends shivers down my spine at the moment. Chris, there you go, Darker Days Radio, he's going to be at UK Games Expo on the Steamforged stand, so he'll be there with doing the War Machine stuff, but you can say hi to him. And I think that's it really. I've covered most of the things in there that I know the answers to. So thank you all for joining me and listening to me ramble on. I hope you find it interesting looking through that stuff. Obviously I reviewed it ages ago, but to actually look at the physical product now as well, it's pretty cool. And those of you who are still waiting on it, I hope that you get your books pretty soon. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. Take care, and I'll catch you soon.